Wish Lauren Rice getting her confirmation in Kilchurch today the very best of luck. Lots of love from Nanny Curly, also Darren, Lisa, Lily and Alana and all the Rice and Dungan family, and also wish her mammy a very happy birthday, Mammy Jen. Lots of love and celebrations. And also, can you say hello and happy Friday to the best Nana in the world, Louise McAvoy in Kilcullen, who we love very much and are on the way to visit her for the day. Lots of love from Sam and Rachel. So keep those messages coming in. 0833 97 97 97. Brian Crehan is on the line. He's chairperson of Ogra Fianna Fáil up in Kildare North. Good morning to you, Brian, and thanks for joining us.
Morning, Owen. Thanks a million for having me on. You
got in touch with us over the last day or so, Brian, to say last week we launched a campaign following consultation with members of the public from the areas that the routes 126 and 120 serve, and you're calling for a 1am, a 2am and a 3am night link. Tell us more.
Right, well, so basically we're the youth wing of Fianna Fáil, so we're there to serve kind of the youth in our area and our members, and kind of we've done various campaigns over the past, and this year we want to focus on public transport. Like, from my own perspective, I'm a musician, I do a lot of gigs up in Dublin, and a lot of the time, you're finishing at 1am or sometimes 2am, and, there's just no way of getting back to where I'm from. Like, I'm from Donaghadee, living in Prosperous, and then you've other members of our unit, such as our Secretary Keane, they work in hospitality, and they've no way of actually getting home with this route as it currently is. Like, if you look at other counties, like, there are night links in place. However, we're just not getting that service in Kildare. So what we're looking for is a 1am, 2am, 3am stop leaving Dublin to service these routes. Currently, it's a bit ridiculous, and a lot of people are shocked when they hear it. The 120 stops leaving Dublin at 11:30 every night, and there's nothing beyond that, whereas other routes, they have late night links. I know currently on the 126 there is a 1am route and there is a 3:30 route, but what we're looking to implement there is a 2am route, just to completely service 1, 2 and 3, because they're the times a lot of people finish in the music sector, in the hospitality sector, and those are generally a lot of young people, but some older people as well. We did do a lot of public consultation with some people down in Stratham who do take part in music and likes of Tampa Bar, and they're saying that it'd be absolutely brilliant amenity for them to get them out of the cars onto the road. If you look at the census, it's where we've gotten a lot of our data. If you take, Kildare, I think it's had a 9.9% increase, which is roughly about 20,000 people since 2016. Yes, there hasn't been much change for our public transport system. If you look at Clane, for instance, which is the biggest population centre on the 120 route, there's only about 300 people who use public transport to either get to school or to work, whereas it's roughly 3,000 use a car, a van or a lorry. So there's a big gap there between people who are using private transport opposed to what we want them to use, public transport, because, climate change, saving the world, saving the environment and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think, look, on paper, the idea is good, Brian, and I live in Sallins, as people know, and the last train out of Dublin is at 11:10, and I've regularly said that we need, a later train for people who are up at a football match or up at a concert and are trying to get home at that time. The argument that could be put for the 120 and the 126 routes, and people who are living along these routes will be saying, shouting at the radio, we can't get these buses to come on time during the day. Sometimes they don't even show up at all. So you would need that reassurance and assurance from Go Ahead and the various operators that these buses are going to be absolutely religiously on time, because otherwise we're going to have people standing on the streets at 1, 2 or 3am in the morning.
Oh no, absolutely. And my father downstairs will probably be shouting at the radio because he doesn't want to go into Dublin to get me at 2am if I'm trying to get one of these night links home. But no, you're absolutely right, Owen, and I did outline that. We have been in communication with Jack Chambers and Eamon Ryan, the two relevant ministers for this portfolio, i.e. transport, along with Go Ahead. I know a couple of months ago I was in contact with some representatives of Go Ahead, and they said that they'd been training in a new swathe of drivers. The problem with Go Ahead for the 120 and the 126 route in terms of people being left stranded was the availability of drivers. And like, as you're aware, there's labour laws in this country that say, you can't be working people to the bone, and like drivers can't exactly be doing routes on and off for 8-9 hours a day. It's just not feasible. It's not safe for them operating a motor vehicle with people inside it. So that was the problem originally with these routes, so far as I was told by Go Ahead, is they didn't have enough drivers. Now, I was given assurance that there was a new swathe of drivers being brought in a couple of months ago now, and hopefully from speaking to them since, they've been trained in and they're ready to go out on the roads, from what we were told anyway. So that's hopefully going to alleviate a lot of the issues in terms of people being left stranded.
Okay, so finally then, Brian, where do we stand on this at the moment? This is a campaign that you've launched following the consultation with members of the public. Who have you brought this forward to, and what's the current state of play?
So last week at our AGM, I was re-elected chair. I don't think they had a better option, but sure, look, we won't get into that. But no, we met with our representatives, our different councillors, and we'll hopefully be putting a motion towards Kildare County Council, getting them to call on the Transport Minister and the NTA to bring in this Nite link. As well as that, next week on Wednesday, we'll be heading up to the Dáil to hopefully meet with Jack Chambers and our representatives, Fiona O'Loughlin. She'd represent Kildare South as a senator, and that'll be 126 territory. And we'll also be working with James Lawless. James from the get-go has been a big supporter of this. I know he got he earned his stripes, I suppose, getting the whole Salons train and all that sort of stuff. So public transport has been a big thing of his. And as well as that, Minister Darragh O'Leary, who actually chaired our AGM, and we're very grateful for that, he was giving us a few pointers on how to actually achieve this, because it's not just a matter of going on KFM and shouting about wanting it. It's about actually approaching the NTA and approaching Go Ahead and giving them essentially an excuse to give us this route. And we've done that by outlining the huge increase in population and the need for it.
All right. On that note, Brian Crehan, chairperson of Ógra Fianna Fáil in Kildare North, thanks for your time this morning, and keep us updated on how that progresses, and we'll keep listeners updated as well. David Brown has been in touch to say that the drivers would want security with them on those late night buses. Yeah, they probably would. Another one here saying transport in Dublin is in a jock, traffic in a jock everywhere. Dublin's City Council have made a mess of the area up there around the RDS. But back to public transport, and you have to look at how Ireland compares with Europe, and questions have to be raised. Are we lagging behind European counterparts? The argument is there we probably are. The last train out of our capital city along the commuter route into Kildare and down as far as Portlaoise, 11:10. As I said, if you're at a football match, and I've been to matches at the Aviva Stadium, you're rushing back to get that last train, and if you miss it, you're left standing there at Euston Station. I know the Dart, I think, runs a little bit later than the Arrow does, or the main commuter route there along the train line. But still, we probably do need late night train services and late night bus services in and out of our city centre. Another one in here from Pauline, echoing what Brian had to say. Yes, we absolutely need that late night service, but as you say, Owen, we need to have that assurance that we're going to have it on time and religiously on time, because you say you've been left standing in Clane when the 120 bus hasn't shown up in the middle of the day, so you'd have to make sure that that doesn't happen at night time.